2019 Very Scary Halloween List. Very scary.
There's only one time a year when October lasts all month, and during that time of year I like to descend into my own list theory, and this year I'm going to think about my favourite top 25 horror films of all flipping time. You dig? Okay, this list isn't particularly well thought out. I put it together very quickly. It's just the 25 that come into my head quickly when I thought of, what horror films do I have nostalgic feels for? What horror films do I really want to watch right now? These are the ones that came into my mind. These are the ones that succumb to my sequential desires. So this list of 25 horror films isn't actually either in order of best to worst or anything like that. No. Take ages to put it in order. I haven't got time for that kind of thing. I'm too busy with my very interesting life. However, what I can tell you is that my number one is my favourite, and my number one is Dario Argento's Inferno from 1980. Gosh damn, I love that film. What a flippin' lovely horror film. And if you haven't seen Inferno from 1980, you should probably go and check it out. It's got great gore, it's got fantastic and strange acting, it's got lovely set design, it's got very strange lighting, it's got a story that doesn't make sense, all the things that I like in a film. I love it a flipping lot. It's a little bit cheesy, but that's good too. And it's also got a pinch of mystery to it. And number two on my very good list would be The Omen. Of course, not the shitty remake, but the original movie that came out in the past, starring the actors and a child, and David Warner, who is also an actor.
Very scary.
Very good film. And I see that film didn't make IGN's top 25 horror films because they're demented. Okay, great. Number three, Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Of course it would. I don't really need to say much about this film. It's a bit demented, good. It's well acted, yes. Interesting characters, yes. Likeable characters, yes. And there's likeable characters on both the good side and the bad side. That's a great thing. I flippin' like it a lot. And my fourth would be Friday the 13th Part 4, which is of course my favourite of the Friday the 13th films. I like it. It's also universally loved as being the best of the Friday the 13th films because it's one of the older ones, but one of the older ones which is the most brutal and gory and flippin' good. It also has lovely actors like Crispin Glover, Corey Feldman and others. Knowable, recognisable character actors. Great. And number five would be Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Gene Wilder from the 1970s, whereby a demented crook invites children to be killed in horrible ways in his factory. It's a very special film from my childhood which stuck with me to today. And when the television people will make the mistake of putting it on during the daytime, what on earth would a horror film be put on during the daytime and around Christmas time? For the children, I sit there and watch it too and marvel at its horrors, because Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory is a horror film. Okay, number six, The Wicker Man, probably my number two favourite horror film of all time. The Wicker Man, a film which I used to watch nearly every day, or at least every week, in my teens and into my 20s, as I'd go and see my friend Smelly on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and we'd just sit there and watch The Wicker Man with strange music and lovely imagery. Lovely, sexy film. Sexy as hell. Number seven, Quatermass in the Pit. From the 60s, I think. What a strange and foreboding movie. I watched this as a child, and it's one of those films that really stuck with me. Quatermass and the Pit. Lovely film. And one of the only films from this list that I don't own on my computer or physically. I would like to watch it again. I'll track it down. Yes. So next on my very good list, Halloween 3 Season of the Witch, which is by far the best and only good Halloween film. It stars Tom Atkins as the Mustachioed Doctor, which is a good benefit to everyone watching because he's good in anything but he's in. I flipping love Tom Atkins. He's in great films. He's in Creep Show, Night of the Creeps. He's in a bunch of good shit. Check out anything that has Tom Atkins in, but specifically Halloween 3. What a joy. Next up, Psycho 2. So you're probably like, Psycho 2, what about Psycho? And I'll be like, yeah, that's well good, mate. That's well good, but I prefer Psycho 2. It's a great follow-up. All these years later, like 23 years later or something, follows on a story, gets out of jail, continues with his murders, or is he murdering? It's a mystery movie. Mystery movie. I love Psycho 2, a great follow-up. And it's one of those films that will stick with me throughout the days. Next, of course, is Suspiria from the 1970s. What a fantastic film, and perhaps the film with the best imagery on my list. I love Suspiria a lot. I also like the remake quite a lot, and lots of people didn't like the remake, but I fairly enjoyed it. Usually I'm against remakes. Remakes, stay away from me! Remakes, stay away! But I liked the remake of Suspiria. Well done whoever made that, but that's nothing compared, of course, to the 1970s Suspiria, so well done. And number 11, Puppet Master 3. That's the one that was set in Nazi Germany during the war, which is when those goodies and baddies shooting each other. And amidst the wartime blitz, we have the little puppets running around, drilling through people, shooting people, climbing up walls. Really great stop motion animation, all this shit. Really cool film. Really flipping cool film. Puppet Master 3, easily the best of the Puppet Master series. And 12th on my list is Jaws. Jaws, as you probably don't realise, is a film about a never-ending shark monster that lives out in the waves of the ocean, and sometimes it bites people. So that's the general summary of Jaws, the movie. And next on my list is Poltergeist, closely followed by Poltergeist 2, which I hold in high esteem next to each other. The only difference being, I think, between Poltergeist and Poltergeist 2. Poltergeist 2 perhaps has better physical effects, but Poltergeist has a better soundtrack and more cute charm. Cute charm. Great for Poltergeist. And next, at number 14, is House from the mid-80s, which is a film about the actor William Cobb playing as... William Catt playing Roger Cobb. Yeah, that's it. It's confusing with all these names. I've heard so many names in my days. And his son disappears in this house of his, and he's like, where the hell's my son got? And it turns out this house has got gateways to other realms in it, secret areas, ghosts, there's monsters around, all sorts of funny little film. I flipping love me House. Some people wouldn't say it's a horror film, some people say it's more of a science fiction, fantasy, dark comedy. Screw that rubbish! It's a comedy horror, kind of like in the way that Evil Dead 2 is a comedy horror. But I'd say The House is preferable to Evil Dead 2 if I had to pick one out of my stink pile. Do you know what I mean? So next, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. The one that most people don't like very much. I flipping love it. It's the darkest of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. It's the most interesting of the Nightmare on Elm Street films. Freddy is still scary in it. Freddy still keeps to the shadows for the most part, although he's out a bit more from the shadows than he was in the first. It's an interesting flipping film, and there's some fantastic effects in it, like when he bursts through the guy's body. Oh, I love me that shit, that physical shit. Not on Elm Street 2. Yeah, boy. Next up, Dawn of the Dead. Yeah, you with it? That film that's in everyone's flipping list. Everyone's flipping list. Oh, The Shining's in my list. The Exorcist's in my list. They ain't in my list, mate. Dawn of the Dead is, though. I'm going to share that one with you, everyone. Dawn of the Dead is in my list. My favourite zombie film. Better than any of that 28 Days Later rubbish that they come out with now. Oh, The Walking Dead nonsense. No, shovel that. Stick all that up your dirty old arse, mate. Dawn of the Dead. That's all you need. Okay, 17. Don't Look Now.
Very scary.
Donald Sutherland is looking for his ghost of a daughter in Venice, in Italy. And the film, as you probably know, has a shocking ending. Oh my gosh, a horrible, shocking ending. Oh! And what a sex scene the film has. What a sexy sex scene. Oh my gosh. It's one to tell your parents about. So should you go and watch Don't Look Now, Yes, that's because it's in my list and I'm telling you to go and watch it. So after that, in my list, at number 18 out of 25, is The Fly from 1986 with Jeff Goldblum. I love this film again, mostly because of the physical effects. I'm a big fan of physical gore effects. The prosthetic, the plastic, the ooze. I love it so much. That's why most of my list includes films which do have very good gory effects. As well, of course, standing side by side with a story and a mystique. Great. I'm not just a gorehound, you know. Give me some taste. So yes, after The Fly, The Abominable Dr. Phibes, which is maybe 1971, I think. Vincent Price film. It's a film which has stuck with me over the years, whereby the mad Dr. Phibes, of course played by Vincent Price, my neighbour, by the way, Vincent Price, he kills people in crazy ways, one by one, getting his revenge on the doctors who didn't save his wife. Very good film. Go and watch The Abominable Dr. Phibes if you haven't seen it. And its follow-up, that's good too. And after that, number 20 on my list, The Thing. That should be on everyone's list. I don't need to explain that. I'm not talking about the recent remake prequel. I'm not talking about the 50s or 60s one. You know, I'm talking about the 1980 thing with Kurt Russell. Again, fantastic effects, great music, creepy monsters and shit like that. Great. And next on my list, if you're wondering, has this guy got any films from 1978 or what? I'm here to say, yes, I have. I've got a film from 1978 and it's called Invasion of the Body Snatchers. With Donald Sutherland, Jeff Goldblum and Leonard Nimoy, all trying to escape the body snatchers who are taking over everyone's bodies to put them into their horrible cocoons. What a film. And the film which for years made me go around pointing at people in the street and going "Ah!" and screaming just for a bit of attention, which is the kind of thing that I like. Next up, The Blob. The Blob. And when I say The Blob, of course I mean the 1980s Blob with the effects, with the horrific, disgusting gore. What a disgusting and yet lovely movie, which also has Jack Nance from Twin Peaks in it as a doctor or something. Very nice. I love The Blob. What a movie. And also, if you can catch the novelisation of it, it's flipping disgusting. What a load of well-described gore to make you feel sick. Very nice. Next up is Alien, which is a film about an alien monster out in space on a flipping spaceship. It's got that woman from Ghostbusters and all that, you know what I mean? You probably haven't seen it, but it's good. Next up, Adam Chaplin, an Italian, more obscure movie from recent days. It's from maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Adam Chaplin. It's about a guy who has a monster that lives inside his back, who gives him very strong powers for revenge, for which he can punch extremely hard, and he spends much of the film going around punching people's heads off, splattering people's bodies into flattened pancakes by punching. It's an extremely bloody movie. Adam Chaplin. It was recorded in Italian language, so if you watch it, it's going to have subtitles. But it's flipping good. Go and check it out. Adam Chaplin. Go and watch a trailer of it on YouTube or somewhere like that. You can get it on DVD from necrostorm.com. That's necrostorm.com. Great. And last on my list, I did have Last House on the Left on my list, but I scrubbed that one out. I thought, nah, even though I like that film, I like its weird mix-up of kooky music and dark scenes, and also I love the character of Krug in it. Anyhow, after thinking about Last House on the Left, I thought I'm not going to have that on my list, because I've only got one more space on my list, although it is going to be about a last house, because this film is Amityville 2, The Possession. It has what I think is the most eerie soundtrack I've ever heard in a horror film. It has, again, very good physical effects for a horror film. It has the beautiful Diane Franklin as the lead teenage girl in it, who has an incestuous relationship with her brother. It is a story of a young man who gets possessed and destroys his family to bits in his household. So that is my rundown of, at the moment, my favourite and top 25 horror movies. If I was going to lock myself in a smelly old dirtbag of a room and have 25 horror movies, right now, today, this is what I do. 2019, 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 this is what I do.
Thank you ever so much for watching my very good video. Don't forget to subscribe to the Very Good channel and come back next week for another very good video. A video to watch now. It's a good video.